Hey guys, it's Candy. Welcome back to Our Family Nest. So it is Sunday, favorite day of the week. And it's also the day where we talk about books here on Our Family Nest. I'm actually filming this on Sunday. So I had such a good relaxing day yesterday. I was gonna film this video and instead I didn't work, I didn't check email, I didn't do anything. So now here we are, Sunday morning, up and at 'em, getting this video up and posted for you guys on time. I'm on a streak. I've been posting my book videos every Sunday. So anyways, these questions, some of them I got from you guys on Instagram, and then other ones I actually snagged from Haley Fam's video. I think she titled hers. I think she titled it, I read 57 books in 2022 and here's what you should read or know or something. And it was kind of like a book tag. Ironically, if you go to my Goodreads account, I have read 57 books so far this year. But I'm not going to title my video that because I feel like some of my answers to these questions will be based off of books that maybe I haven't read this year. This is going to be more like overall book tag, but most of the books that I mention will be from this year because they're on my bookshelves. Prior to this year, I would read books and I would get rid of them, which kind of makes me sad because I read a lot of really good books last year that I wish I still had on my bookshelves. But anyways, rather here nor there, let's just jump into the questions. First question is best book you have read so far. We're just gonna grab this whole stack of books right here because I know that a lot of these books on this pile are answers to some of these questions. It's so hard to pick like best book. Really, really hard. My favorite book so far this year would have to be Mary Jane, just because it is so different than what I normally would read. It's literary fiction and it's just such a good book. I'm not gonna get into the details on all the books. I just wanna be able to answer as many questions as possible. Plus, the majority of these books I've already talked about in other videos. Next question, the best series you've read so far. That would have to be The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I know I'm probably butchering her last name, but The Friend Zone's the first book, followed by the Happy Ever After playlist, followed by Life's Too Short. And this one was my favorite of the series, and I just loved this series. It's fun, it's a little bit spicy, flirty. There's like real heavy life topics in there, but at the same time, it's like so entertaining. Book you would never recommend. I'm gonna go with Riley Sager, The House Across the Lake, just because so many booktubers and bookstagram people have been sharing this book lately, and I'm just always really shocked at how many people love this book. Like, I wanna say, if you liked this book that much, I don't think you've read very many good thrillers before, because this book was just all over the place. Nope, didn't cut it for me. There's so many thrillers out there that are better than this. I would not recommend this. Book you would read again. I actually put this question on the list because I don't think there's ever been a book that I would ever read a second time. I just don't see the point. There are millions of books to read. I'd rather go back and read like older books, like Jane Austen books. Like, I'd rather even read historical fiction books, which aren't even my favorite, before I would really ever read a book twice. I just don't see the point. And it's weird because I'll watch movies over and over and over again, but I just don't have any interest in reading a book more than once. Genre you've been loving and reading the most. You know, I love thriller books. I really love a good thriller that when I set it down, I'm almost like so disturbed I can't go to sleep, which is not a good thing. However, that's how I know it's like a good book. I just find that the authors that I follow and the book recommendations that I get from other people, just through social media, I tend to pick more romance books than anything else. Favorite Colleen Hoover book? For Colleen Hoover, I have read so far Verity, Reminders of Him, Confess, and Ugly Love. So considering how many books she has out there, and I have a lot of them, I've only read 4 so far, and Confess is my favorite by far. I guess I just love that the characters in this book had to go through so many like trials and tribulations, and it just wasn't like a fluffy romance book. Favorite author? That is such a hard question to answer. If we based it just off of books that I read this year, I would have to go with Abby Jimenez just because this is my favorite series, and I also have read Part of Your World, and this was so good. This book was, I highly recommend this. Like, you have to read this book if you like cute, funny romances, but a really good, strong plot behind them. Next question is, what are you currently reading? I am currently reading A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm on page 88, just started chapter 8, so I'm not very far, and it's really good. I loved A Court of Thorns and Roses. I read this for books out of my comfort zone because this series is fantasy. There are 5 books in the series. I don't know if there's going to be more or not. I know there are a lot of people that are huge fans of the author, Sarah J. Maas. Would I necessarily like read any of her other series? Probably not, just again because there are so many good thriller and romance books that comes out. I just don't think I'm going to be like going to the bookstore searching for another fantasy series. But with that being said, I really am loving these books so far. Book you couldn't finish. Here we have We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker. I got this book because somebody I followed on Instagram claimed this to be their favorite book of the year. Might have been 2021 or this year, I don't remember. And this girl reads a lot of books. And I was like, well, this is her favorite book. It's got to be pretty darn good. And I just did not connect with this author's writing style. It's all over the place. And I remember when I shared that on social media, there were quite a few people that even had said his writing is unique. If you've read any of his other books, you would know if you like this writing style, you really would enjoy this book. But for me, I did not finish it. New release you haven't read yet, but are excited to. I would say out of all the books on my shelves, I'm most excited to read Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I've heard a lot of people love this book. I'm pretty sure everybody cries at it if I remember correctly. Which book was the biggest disappointment? I'm gonna say Finley Donovan Knocks Them Dead, because I had read Finley Donovan is Killing It by Ellie Cusimano. This book was so fun, so cute. I feel like I flew through it because it was just so entertaining. It's like comedy, but it's kind of like mystery, not really thriller. She falls into sort of being a hitman, but not really. And I was so excited to read the second book, and I just felt like it was a knockoff of the first book. It was almost like the author wrote a second book because she knew people would buy it, but I don't know, people must love it because there's a third book coming out too, I'm pretty sure. There's some questions in here too that I thought would be fun to answer. How do you make time to read but also keep up with TV shows? I honestly don't watch like TV shows that are on TV other than like the Bachelor, Bachelorette series. Everything else I watch, I stream like on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and I feel like I kind of binge watch. So I just kind of pick and choose when I have free time. Like, what am I in the mood to do today? Do I want to read or do I want to sit down and watch like 3 episodes of Virgin River in a row? Even like on a weekend when I'm like binge watching a show, usually that evening I'll still read in bed before I go to bed. So I feel like no matter what, I probably read at least an hour before I go to bed and probably at least an hour sometime throughout the day. So that's 2 hours for sure. But then like if it's a day that I just don't really have a lot going on, I might sit down with my lunch at 1 p.m. and read for 2 hours. So it just really depends on what's on my schedule. But I feel like I actually read more lately than watch anything on TV. A book you picked up for its cover. Oh, I know, this one for sure. I seen this when I went to a bookstore and I just fell in love with this cover. I think it is so cute. It's The Stand-In by Lily Chu, and The Stand-In was actually first released as a Audible book, and it just sounds like a really cute story. There's like a celebrity who needs to like go in hiding, so there's this girl that they come across that looks just like her, so they have her like kind of pretend she's her. So I don't know why, but definitely bought it for the cover. Favorite place to buy cheap books. If you're not against buying used books, I've been using Pango lately. It is an app or a website, Pango. And I feel like you could get really good deals on books. Now there are some sellers that they know that they have like a really popular book, or like Colleen Hoover books, people who kind of charge more for. But the majority of the books that I've purchased off of there are between like $3 and $4 a piece, which to me is a great bargain. And I don't mind that the books are slightly used. I actually think it's kind of comforting to know like someone else potentially read this book and loved it too. Number one tip to get into reading. I know reading is so like popular. It's like, I don't know, like it's a thing the cool kids are doing, you know what I mean? For me, I'm old. I've always liked reading. I was reading under my covers with a flashlight as a teenager in my bedroom. If you're one of those people that's like, I really wish I loved to read because so many people I know are sharing these books and they sound so good, but I just don't know how to get into it. First of all, if you're younger than me, I would venture to say that you're probably spending a lot of time on your phone, streaming through social media, watching YouTube videos like this right now. Just tell yourself to put your phone down 30 minutes a day and read a book. I mean, 30 minutes a day, you'll get through a book in a week. And I feel like once you really read some really good books, that's when you'll want to keep reading more. Maybe you'll find an author that you enjoy, or you'll enjoy following someone's recommendations like me. And I just feel like it's one of those things, the more you do it, the more you love it, and you'll find yourself making time for it. Biggest surprise. I would say Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. So many people were saying that this book was just like Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, which I wouldn't totally disagree with. Definitely see the similarity in the storyline, but I actually liked this book even more than Love in Other Words for just different reasons. There were some parts in Love in Other Words to me that seemed a little bit repetitive and drug out, even though I absolutely love the book. 5 stars, highly recommend it. I love Christina Lauren as authors. It's 2 people, by the way, Christina and Lauren. But this was actually this author's debut novel, and it was just amazing. I really enjoyed it, and I loved it. I love shorter books, and I read this in one sitting. I think it was like a Sunday, and I started it at like 8 o'clock at night, and I sat in the recliner until I finished it. That's how good it was. How do you organize your books on your shelves? Well, there really isn't a perfect answer for this other than the books across the top, which some of them are missing because I took them off the shelves for this video. But the ones up there in the left-hand corner, Twilight, of course, I've read. All of these books I've read. And then this here's the Court of Thorns and Roses series mixed in with the beginnings of my holiday books. These are just a bunch of romance books. These are books that I've read so far this month. And then we just kind of have like hardcovers, paperbacks. These are all books. This is my Colleen Hoover shelf. Some of them I have read. I just wanted to keep all of her books together, but a ton of them that I have not read yet. Haven't read any of these. Now we get down here. I have read all of these hardcover books. A lot of these are my hardcover books of the month. Majority of these are thrillers. Kind of some other thrillers, but there's some other ones mixed in there. And then this shelf I've started down here is with books I've already read. And then rest of the shelves are just knickknacks. These are books not that you read, but like cookbooks and things like that. Eventually I'll have books on these other shelves too. I'll end up just putting like books down here that I've already read. But that is just how I have them organized right now. Favorite series if you're new to reading? Ooh, that's really hard. Because I wouldn't necessarily recommend a series if you're new to reading. It really just depends on what genre you like. Like if you like fantasy books, go for A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you like romance books with a little bit of spice, go for the Friend Zone series. But some of my favorite series ever are like older series. I love the dystopian era of books. In fact, I bet you there are new dystopian series or books out there that I don't know about because I just feel like it's just not a talked about enough genre of books. But I love like The Hunger Games, Divergent, Twilight. Oh my God, Twilight. I've only read the books once, but I have watched the movies a gazillion times. Huge Twilight fan here. And I know there's more series. Those are just at the top of my head because they're the most popular. Of course, all made into movies as well. But Those books were so good. So honestly, maybe that's your thing. I say just go to Goodreads, and there's so many like good lists on there. Pick a genre that you like and just look at like the top books in those genres and start there. A book that made you cry. Definitely One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book was just, oh my God, so just hit me in the heart. I cried many times through this book, and it's just really, really good. All right, last questions. What books are at the top of your to-be-read pile? All right, I already shared with you Archer's Voice. I definitely want to finish the Court of Thorns and Roses series. Jennifer Weiner used to be my like all-time favorite author, and I feel like lately her books have been hit or miss. I had read That Summer, which was her newest release prior to this one, and I couldn't even finish it. I just did not enjoy it at all. But then like the one before that, Big Summer, I gave 5 stars and I absolutely loved. So I'm really excited to read The Summer Place. I almost just feel like with these titles, like she's trying so hard to like be a beach read. Like Big Summer, That Summer Place. Like, I don't know, something about that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Her earlier books, Good in Bed, In Her Shoes, Little Earthquakes, so good. For thrillers, I'm definitely excited to read One of the Girls by Lucy Clark, and this cover is stinking amazing. I definitely want to get in some more Colleen Hoover. Obviously, like I said, I need to read It Ends With Us, but I think the next 2 that I will read is November 9th and Heartbones. I definitely want to sneak in and read Tell Me Lies next, because this is going to be a movie with Emma Roberts coming up, I think, in the next week or so, on like Netflix or Hulu or something. So, and it looks really good, but I'd much rather read the book first. Yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you walked away with some good recommendations. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog or in next Sunday's book video. Bye, guys.